Welcome back to the channel. As always, your Pittsburgh Steelers are grinding to improve and bring home those wins we know they're capable of. But as we head into a pivotal Week 16 matchup against the Baltimore Ravens, there are some big challenges facing this team. Injuries are mounting, and the question on everyone's mind is simple. Can the Steelers overcome these setbacks and secure the AFC North? Before we dive into the details, make sure to smash that like button to show your support for the black and gold. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Let's get into it. Last week's 27-13 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles wasn't just another game. It was a wake-up call. While many expected the Eagles, one of the league's top teams, to be a tough opponent, the Steelers' performance raised some serious concerns, particularly on offense. Without George Pickens, the Steelers' wide receiver corps struggled to find rhythm. The team relied heavily on Calvin Austin III, who led with 5 catches for 65 yards, 31 of which came on a single flea flicker play. Tight end Pat Freiermuth, who many thought would be the go-to option, managed only 3 catches for 22 yards, but did secure the team's lone touchdown. The absence of Pickens has exposed a glaring issue. This offense doesn't function the same without its star receiver. George Pickens is the heartbeat of the Steelers' offense. His ability to stretch the field, make contested catches, and demand attention from defenses has been critical all season. But after suffering a hamstring injury in practice, Pickens has been sidelined for 2 games, and his return against the Ravens is uncertain. Mark Kaboly of the Pat McAfee Show joined 93.7, the fan morning show this week, to discuss the situation, and he didn't mince words. This offense struggles without Pickens, and it's not just about talent, it's about chemistry. They need him back, but they can't rush it. Kaboly's comments highlight a delicate balance for the Steelers. Do they push Pickens to return, risking further injury, or do they hold him out and hope the rest of the team can step up? Head coach Mike Tomlin has been vocal about trusting the depth of this roster. But after last week's performance, it's clear that no one can truly replace Pickens' impact. If Pickens' absence wasn't enough, the Steelers are also dealing with uncertainty around T.J. Watt, who suffered an ankle injury late in the Eagles' game. Initially, there were fears of a serious issue, possibly a Jones fracture. But further analysis has brought some relief. Former NFL team Dr. David J. Chow shared his professional insight, explaining that Watt's injury isn't as severe as initially feared. Watt himself has described his status as day-to-day, leaving the door open for a possible return against the Ravens. Still, the Steelers face a tough decision. Watt is the cornerstone of this defense, and his presence is critical not only for this game but also for a potential Super Bowl run. Rushing him back could jeopardize his availability for the playoffs, which raises an important question. Is it worth risking Watt for 1 game, or should the Steelers prioritize his long-term health? Without Pickens, the Steelers need other playmakers to rise to the occasion. Last week, there were flashes of potential, but consistency was lacking. 1. Calvin Austin III. Austin proved he can be a reliable target, but he needs more opportunities to shine. Look for the Steelers to involve him in creative ways, leveraging his speed and agility. 2. Pat Freiermuth. The Steelers extended Freiermuth for a reason, and now is the time for him to prove his value. As a dependable target in the red zone and on third downs, Freiermuth must play a bigger role. 3. Mike Williams. Williams had a quiet game against the Eagles with just 1 catch for 15 yards. Offensive coordinator Arthur Smith needs to find ways to get him more involved, especially in contested situations where his size can be an advantage. 4. The run game. With questions surrounding the passing game, the Steelers may lean heavily on the ground attack. Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren have been a dynamic duo this season, and their ability to control the clock could be crucial against the Ravens. On defense, T.J. Watt is irreplaceable, but the Steelers still have playmakers who can step up in his absence. Alex Highsmith has been phenomenal this season, and his ability to generate pressure will be even more important if Watt is out. Cam Hayward remains the anchor of the defensive line and will need to set the tone early against Baltimore's rushing attack. In the secondary, Minkah Fitzpatrick and Cam Sutton must continue their strong play to contain the Ravens' passing game. Let's start with the obvious. The Steelers were outplayed by the Eagles in a 27-13 loss that was rough to watch. While we clinched a playoff spot thanks to outcomes elsewhere in the league, this game felt anything but celebratory. The offense struggled to find its rhythm. Drives stalled, and key players like George Pickens and Pat Freiermuth didn't have the impact we needed. The defense? It had its moments. T.J. Watt racked up 2 sacks, but ultimately they couldn't contain an Eagles offense that seemed to control the clock and the momentum from start to finish. And then there were the coaching decisions. Oh boy, where do we even start? One of the most baffling moments came late in the first half. After T.J. Watt came up big with his second sack of the game, forcing a 4th and 24 for the Eagles deep in their own territory, the Steelers had a golden opportunity to maximize their time on offense before halftime. But what happened next? Nothing. Tomlin let precious seconds tick away before finally calling a timeout, with 1:29 left on the clock. The Eagles were clearly going to punt. There was no conceivable scenario in which they'd go for it. So why wait? This isn't just about losing time. It's about losing opportunities. Those extra 20-30 seconds could have given the Steelers' offense a chance to run more plays, get closer to the end zone, and maybe even score a touchdown instead of settling for a field goal. When asked about the decision during the post-game press conference, Tomlin's response didn't exactly inspire confidence. He offered a vague explanation, saying he was focused on the game situation and that these decisions are never as simple as they seem. But here's the thing. This isn't an isolated incident. Steelers fans, you've seen this before. Tomlin's struggles with clock management and split-second decision-making have been a recurring theme throughout his career. Whether it's calling timeouts at odd times or hesitating to throw the challenge flag, these mistakes have cost the team valuable opportunities in close games. And here's what's even more frustrating. Other teams in the NFL have addressed this issue by hiring specialized assistants whose sole job is to manage the clock and advise the head coach during these critical moments. Why hasn't Pittsburgh done the same? This isn't the first time Tomlin's clock management has come under fire this season. Think back to the Week 8 loss against the Dallas Cowboys. A similar situation unfolded where questionable timeout usage left fans wondering what could have been if those decisions had gone differently. Now, let's be fair. Tomlin isn't the only coach to make these kinds of mistakes. Even some of the league's best have had their moments. But for a team like the Steelers with playoff aspirations and a rich history of success, these errors feel like a glaring weakness that can and should be corrected. Let's not forget another questionable call. Punting at midfield with just over 10 minutes to go while down by 14 points. At that point in the game, the Steelers needed to be aggressive, not conservative. Instead, they gave the ball back to an Eagles team that was dominating possession and never got it back. It's decisions like these that leave fans asking, where's the urgency? What needs to change? The Steelers are a talented team. Even in the loss, there were bright spots. T.J. Watt's dominant performance, Calvin Austin's growth, and the defense showing flashes of its potential. But coaching is about putting your team in the best position to win, and clock management is a fundamental part of that. Here's what the Steelers could do to address this. Hire a clock management specialist. It's time to modernize. Many teams around the league have analysts who focus exclusively on timeouts, challenges, and situational football. The Steelers need to follow suit. Improve sideline communication. If hesitation is an issue, better communication between Tomlin and his staff could help. Quick, decisive decision-making comes from preparation and clarity. Learn from past mistakes. It's one thing to make an error. It's another to repeat it. The Steelers need to study these moments and ensure they don't happen again in critical games down the stretch. This isn't just another divisional game. It's a battle for the AFC North title and a chance to secure playoff positioning. Thanks to some favorable results last week, the Steelers have already clinched a postseason berth, but now they're fighting for seeding. The Ravens, led by Lamar Jackson, present a unique challenge. Their offense thrives on unpredictability, and their defense is one of the best in the league. If the Steelers want to win, they'll need a complete team effort. All right, Steelers fans, now it's your turn. 1. Should the Steelers play it safe and hold out George Pickens and TJ Watt, or should they push to get them back on the field? 2. Who do you think will step up on offense in Pickens' absence? 3. Can the defense hold strong without Watt if necessary? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you. The Steelers are in the thick of a brutal stretch, facing 3 of the NFL's top teams in just 11 days. After the Ravens, they'll face the Kansas City Chiefs and Cincinnati Bengals to close out the regular season. This is a defining moment for Pittsburgh. Can they overcome adversity and prove they're true contenders? Only time will tell. Before you go, don't forget to like this video to show your support for the Steelers. And if you're not already subscribed, hit that button now so you're always up to date with the latest news and analysis. Thanks for watching, and as always, here we go, Steelers Nation.